The once strongest dragon gasped as he took his last breath. He didn't expect the feeble humans to be capable enough to slay him. He was the last of his kind. He wanted to unleash his anger on humans for his dead kin. But before he could exact his revenge, he was slain by humans. He felt immense regret and remorse as he closed his eyes. Then, to the sudden noise, the dragon opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a human face holding him. He was perturbed as to why he was in a human's embrace. Soon the realization struck him. He had turned into a human baby. Anger overtook him as he despised humans, and he failed to control his indignation. So the first thing he did was spit on his father's face. Feeling proud of his petty action, he began to giggle close to his mother. His mother came close to him and whispered that his name is Ray. As time passed, the young dragon found himself in a problem. Being a four-legged creature, it was difficult for him to get used to and perform two-legged creature movements. He wasn't getting accustomed to it. As he was growing older, his hair color had begun to change from brown to red, as if to match his previous life appearance. But the young dragon's goal was still the same, though. He wanted revenge on humans for killing his kin. So he continued training relentlessly. Just like any other day, he was taking a break after training as the sun was setting. As he was contemplating and speaking to himself, someone approached him. Startled, he took a battle stance only to find a beautiful girl of his age asking if he was all right. She introduced herself as Amy. Ray replied to her by saying that he was startled by her sudden appearance, and asks the reason for her concern, to which she replies that the place of his training was all right during the day, but demons lurk there at night. Hence, she asks him to return to the village with her. He hums in acknowledgement and was about to tell her his name but gets interrupted by her as she tells him that she already knew his name was Ray. This suddenly triggers the sad events he's been through after getting reborn. In the world where Ray is born, the red color was considered ominous and evil, as this color belonged to a red dragon who once ruled over the world and was regarded as evil color by humans. So Ray faced discrimination from a young age due to his red-colored hair. As both of them, Ray and Amy, get closer to the village, they are stopped by a group of trios. The leader of the trio shouts to Ray, "Get away from my sister!" After hearing that, Amy retorts loudly, "Gary, he didn't do anything," to which Gary plays by ear and warns Ray not to get close to his sister. Ray doesn't say anything and moves along his way. As he passes by the other two of the trio, they begin to curse at him, which Ray endures, but then they begin to curse his parents, which he couldn't tolerate, and a fight ensues. Battered Ray returns home. His mother voiced her concern for him by asking him, "Did you fight?" and if he was bullied, which Ray firmly denies and says that this was all the result of training. As she becomes more concerned, she begins to take out her anger on her husband, as he was the reason Ray began to train to become a swordsman. When Ray was a toddler, it was found that he had no aptitude for magic. Ray considered it a sad joke. As he once was a legendary dragon, how could he not use magic? And begins to pull the mustache of the foolish wizard. Afterward, Ray's father gives him a sword as his birthday present, and he says, "So, what if you can't be a magician, you can be a swordsman just like your father?" Ray still hated humans, but he didn't hate his parents as they wholeheartedly love him. Every evening he practiced swordsmanship with a training dummy. By repeatedly fighting the dummy, Ray had already memorized its movement tracks but was not able to defeat it as he is still not used to human body movement. The next day, as Ray was walking to reach his usual training spot, he finds Amy looking around to find someone. As soon as she sees Ray, she brightens up as if she was waiting for him. Then she flinches as she recalls the previous evening's fight, but grits her teeth and greets Ray happily. Ray asks her if she was waiting for him, and she nods. She says that she wanted to apologize for yesterday's incident. Ray replies that it wasn't her fault, so she didn't need to apologize, to which she retorts that it was her brother's fault. Ray reasons that he wasn't good enough, that's why he was beaten. Amy becomes teary. Ray, being a former dragon, finds human relations troublesome and confusing, but reluctantly accepts an apple from Amy's basket as a way to show her that he has accepted her apology. After training till evening, Ray gets ready to return home as always. He looks toward Amy and gets mesmerized by her beauty in the setting sun. He slaps his cheeks as if to get a hold of himself and asks her to get ready to return home. On the way back, Amy walks ahead of Ray while looking around to make sure that the previous day's event doesn't repeat. Ray finds her act questionable, so he asks her if she doesn't care how others will view her, as she was hanging out with a redhead. To which Amy replies that she believes in her own judgment and doesn't think that red color is evil. It's just all foolish rumors. Amy further adds to her statement by saying that Ray shouldn't let other people's opinions demoralize him. He has his own path to follow. These words made Ray very happy. Ray began to understand human virtue, feeling grateful, sympathy, and kindness. He came to understand humans better. One evening, while returning home after training, Ray heard some parents shouting about missing children in the forest. The missing children were the Gary trio and Amy. As the forest becomes very dangerous when the night falls, the parents were worried about the safety of their children. While brooding over, Ray began to recall Amy's appearance and her kindness, and his feet come to a halt. He begins to feel uncomfortable, an emotion that he didn't feel, and perhaps he even felt a bit worried. Soon he picks up the pace and starts walking toward the forest as he gets worried about Amy. Along the way, he finds the corpse of a dead demon wolf. While inspecting it, he hears a scream from Amy and starts running in that direction. There, he finds a wounded Gary and a demon wolf leaping toward Amy. Ray stabs the beast to save Amy, but the wolf attacks with its claw and injures Ray's shoulder. Ray leaps back while grabbing the sword with his mouth and fighting a struggling battle. After a gruesome battle, Ray finally ends up defeating it. Suddenly, Ray hears a ringing sound and a system interface appears right before his eyes. Thus, this event awakens the dragon system, which will take Ray to the peak while facing the trouble of human society and exacting revenge and learning kindness and love along the way. Art of this manhua is great, and if you want to fully enjoy this series, then you should read it on 0 scans. Name of this manhua is given in description of this video.